welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
And today we are going to do a little series review. Um, for those who, watch this show, it's called Manifest. Um, and I think it's probably based on one of those freak stories that we've heard here in the past. Who was that plane that
Oh,
fell?
the Malaysian plane?
Malaysian plane, yeah. So I think it's
Oh,
based on that. The series finale finally came out like what, 2 weeks ago maybe or so.
yeah, a couple weeks ago.
I'm slow to the motion. So I finally finished it because I was just heavily invested in that other show, Succession, which,
Ooh.
I started watching it after it was done. Don't judge me. Uh, but we're going to talk about Manifest today. So for those who haven't watched it, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis and then disclaimer, we're going to talk about the whole thing, the finale. So
Spoilers.
spoilers. Watch the show first if you wanna, or watch us first so you know if you should waste your time. Okay?
Yeah.
Right. So the synopsis is when Montego Air Flight 828 landed safely after a turbulent but routine flight, the crew and passengers were relieved. But in the span of the few hours, the world had aged 5 years. And after mourning their loss, their friends, families, and colleagues had given up hope and moved on. Now, faced with the impossible, they're all given a second chance. But as the new realities become clear, a deeper mystery unfolds, and some of the returned passengers soon realize they are meant for something greater than they ever thought possible. That sounds so intriguing for what it really was.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
Like the show as a whole or the finale?
The show as a whole, the finale, whatever comes to mind.
Oh man. Okay, so when it first came out, I was like, "Oh my God." Like I could not stop watching. I was like, "This is so cool," because, we fly a lot. So, like it kind of was giving
And
me a
you
little
thought
bit.
this was cool?
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm a little weird, guys. It's okay. 'Cause like, okay, I mean, I think that like when you experience any kind of turbulence and everything up in the air, it can be a little bit daunting, a little bit, a little bit scary. And for me, like if I'm at a window seat, I love looking out, in the clouds, and I'm always like keeping track. Okay, I'm about to land. Let me look over here. So when this show came out, I was like, oh my God, I would have freaked out. What could have happened to my life, to my people's whole thing, right? Anyway, and so I was really like invested. I wanted to know what happened. Why did they disappear? And it was like, of course, they had all these little side stories, individual like character stuff, and then like I just think that there was some stuff that I really I feel like they could have done a little bit more on, like how some of the passengers were so deeply affected by having been gone for 5 years. I feel like we only spent like maybe an episode's worth of each one of like, oh, I came back and like my husband married my sister, or I came back and oh, I lost my job and
Yeah.
everything. But like I feel like could have gone way deeper into that. But the whole focus was of course on the Stone family, and I mean, Ben Stone did come back to some little bit of craziness there, but still, so it was really interesting to me. I think that like this last season, this it was a little bit much. I'm not sure if they were like, okay, we got to wrap this up. Let's go like crazy with it, Um,
I hate when shows do that.
yeah, yeah. It was a little much, I mean, we had a plane coming out of the earth, like literally the earth spit out a plane. We had a tail fin appear in the waters of Cuba. We had like this kid who could like disappear también also. And then this girl who like had a sapphire stone just jammed into her hand, like, just kind of, I don't know, melted into her hand. It was definitely kooky. you know, it was there was a whole cult at the end as well. This woman who thought she was an archangel. Whoa. And and then, really what I was more invested in was I wanted Michaela to be with Zeke again, even though Zeke was dead. And I didn't want her to be with Julito. I forget what his name was, Jared. I didn't want her to be with Jared.
For
Um,
those who don't know, Julito is the character from Power.
yeah,
He was a Latino in New York in Power, and we just thought he was so good looking.
yeah,
If guys are watching, sorry, but we have to like fangirl a little bit, so we just
yeah,
call him Julito.
yeah. I can't help it because I was like, Jared, really? Whatever. Anyway,
It doesn't.
so
He's even Cuban in this show. I don't make it make sense. Cubans
it's
are not gonna call you Jared. It's gonna be like a Y name, a Y.
Jari,
Yeah,
maybe.
Eileen. I'm the anomaly here, but it's usually my names, okay?
And so, I wanted him to end up with his baby mama. Like, those were the things I was rooting for. Those were the things I wanted. Um, I was kind of done towards the end. I was like, all right, guys. All
So
right.
you watched it like in the last what month or so, the whole
Yeah,
thing. See,
the
I've
ending
gotten
of it.
snippets like all these years. The show was actually canceled and
Right.
Netflix picked it up. So I think that's why it became a little more kookier and they were trying to like wrap it up and
Yeah.
I don't know. This
Yeah.
show annoyed me. I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh,
I hate when shows, this goes back to like Scandal, I think. I'm trying to think of like stories that kind of die down and then they pick back up. Um, Desperate Housewives, because I just finished watching.
yeah.
They have like good momentum and then it becomes repetitive and they
Yeah.
continue the same thing. It gets kind of boring. I mean, honestly, how many more callings can we have? We had like 10,000 seasons of callings. I'm like,
Yeah.
so you guys are basically psychics. We get it. You're trying to figure out what's going on. I get it. You're detectives now, psychic detectives. And now the world is ending on this
Yeah.
date. Like
Yeah.
at this point, what would have happened if they would have just been chilling, like not answering these callings? The earth would have ended and that's it. They just wasted 5 years. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they didn't at the end of the day because they're like reliving life and stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Well, like this, so because I watched, just this last fourth season altogether. I think that was why I felt like a little bit much because I had seen the other ones when they first came out, like back when it was still on regular ABC or one of those regular channels.
Mhm.
And I was so intrigued and I was disappointed it got canceled. Then I was like, oh great, Netflix picked it up, and I watched the first season that Netflix did, and I was like, okay, all right, whatever. But at this point, I'd already seen enough of it. I'm like, I'm gonna have to finish it. So yeah, so then I see this last season, and again the same thing, like these callings, never ending and all that. But we find out that these callings weren't actual callings; they were things that these people had already seen when they were in the, I don't know, the beyond or whatever they called that, the white luminous area.
Oh, what do they call it? The not the glow.
I think it was the glow.
Was
I think it
it?
was. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. The white glow, I think so. And so it was like,
Was
oh,
it
okay.
the divine, the eternal, the divine, the
Well,
something?
the infinite, no, not infinite divine. Something like that.
Yeah.
But so these people had technically in those 5 years, I don't know, literally saw everything that could possibly happen. So that's why it was just basically like deja vu. They were just reliving, right? Because they'd already witnessed these things. And so like, yeah, it definitely did get kooky, and then the whole thing, oh, they're on the same lifeboat, and they have a death date and they were trying to beat that. I did not like that Zeke gave up his life. I loved him.
I hated
Um of course you did.
it.
Of course. Anywho, and then I didn't understand how this Angelina chick all of a sudden like was this, and then she was like super crazy. Like she just went from A to like Z like quick. Um,
But
and
she was
she,
always crazy.
yeah, but I was just
Her
kind of like,
parents were like fanatics, like
yeah.
religious zealots or whatever. And then it just heightened with all these with she was always crazy.
But she wanted so badly to become at first like Olive, and then she was obsessed with taking the little girl. I can't remember
Eden.
her name. Eden. She was so obsessed with that. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. Like I don't know. She kidnapped her and had her for 2.5 years. I was like, whoa,
I know.
whoa. And then yeah, she became a full-on zealot and just went crazy with everything.
Mhm.
But and then at the end, oh. I misunderstood. You think? You think? And then ashes to ashes, dust to dust, like all
Literally,
that.
I was like, I couldn't believe these people were just blowing up like that. Like,
I know.
it was kind of cool. I was like, oh my God, they're gonna die. I thought that Michaela was going to die because, Zeke had already died. She had nothing to live for, basically, it seemed.
I know.
Jared, he had a new well, not relationship, but he had a baby mama that he just found out. So he was gonna have
Mm-hmm.
a little girl called Esperanza or Hope. I'm not sure which
Hope.
one. Hope in English.
Well, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with hope.
Yeah. So I was like, she's gonna make some sacrifice or something. But she didn't. So I was kind of like bummed
Yeah.
because her acting was atrocious a lot of um but other than that, I don't understand how they came back and they remembered everything. Like I think
Right.
that kind of like defies like
Yeah.
stuff
Because the whole reason why they were having
like
the whole reason why they were having these callings is because it was like when they left the glow, right? When they returned 5 years, 5.5 years later, they couldn't remember anything, right? That's why they didn't think that they'd been gone for 5.5 years. So the fact that now they could remember was a little bit weird.
yeah,
It's like I don't know how that works because I feel like that not only defies just like stuff, but like also would be very problematic,
yeah. Especially with somebody like Egan. He
that
is
guy.
going to be he's going to be Elon Musk of
Yeah,
madness.
I
I
can see
can
that.
totally see that.
Yeah.
Like because not everybody that was good, even though he kind of redeemed himself, but
Yeah,
not everybody that was good survived. There was like,
right.
one between two.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just it kind of threw me off. I was like, did they die?
Mhm.
Oh, they did all this and died?
I
That's what
know. That's what
I
I
was
thought.
I was like, see, this
Yeah.
was all inevitable. They should have just lived life. The earth was gonna blow up anyway. Why am I tasked to save the planet and humankind?
I mean, man, that's why you weren't a part of the focus group. I think that's why they went with the Stones.
Yeah, I'm glad they went with the stone. It doesn't make any sense at this
I
point.
know. And then okay, how do we feel? How do we feel about Ben and Sanvi?
I kind of thought they were gonna get together, but
I
Sanvi
did
was
too.
always like a weirdo.
Yeah. But is it just me, or was it that the women were like more hardcore in this than like the men? Because Sanvi was like by any means necessary. Michaela was by any means necessary. Even Makami, the who became Jared's baby mama, that girl would bought a whole building. My that's my girl right there.
That is my favorite character. I'm mad we're agreeing right now. I'm shocked that we are. I'm like, I love this girl. I love her attitude. I thought she was
What?
the best person for Jared. So
Yeah,
I'm that, they kind of like Michaela call up the engagement and then
yeah,
there's sparks between the new detective and him. But
yeah.
she was handling her own. She was a trooper. She was like,
Bro.
to be a dad, it's up to you. Biologically, yes.
Right, right.
She was ready to handle it. And I was like, wow,
I love her.
that
My
is
hero.
crazy.
Not only did she buy the building next to where the 828ers were being held, but that girl was like slamming the wall, trying to get through the wall by any means necessary. She's gonna get these people out. And I was just like, dang, girl. Cause what was Jared doing? Nothing. what was Michaela doing? Not Michaela, it's the Ben giving speeches. I mean, mind you, he helped to
Trying to
keep people
go
alive.
grow, grow food over there and keeping hope alive, which he did
Yeah,
a good job. I gotta
yeah.
give him. What's he gonna do?
Another one.
Breaking his brain, like
Oh
trying to answer
yeah.
all the callings, el pobre.
Another one that I loved was the, oh my God, what was his name? The CIA guy or the
And
NSA guy. Vance. I loved Vance. Vance was also very much ride or
he was
die.
very ride or die. He
He was.
was.
Yeah.
But
And
it like just this whole concept, right? So they're on a flight, right?
hmm
Clearly, guys, they're on this flight. They come back. They see this whole life, it has changed. Everybody's
right.
moved on without them. Like, I don't understand why they spent 5.5 years thinking about their impending doom, which they didn't even know till like way later that the earth was going to die or,
Right.
blow up or whatever.
Right.
Like when they could have been spending that time either rebuilding relationships, moving on with their lives, blah, 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 XYZ. Because we
Yeah.
didn't know that it was going to end this way, like them going back
Right.
and kind of like redoing life again. I don't
Yeah.
know. And isn't it manifest itself because the 11 passengers that didn't make it did like it's just is it starting all
It's
over
still a
again?
mystery. Yeah, I mean, and then okay, hold on, because the cheesiest of the cheesiest, the most outlandish of the most outlandish, even more so than the Earth spitting up a plane, they fought the Angel of Death back with their word.
Oh. I was
Man,
like, what?
they were like, and I'm just like,
I think I was trying to understand like what was going on there.
they were like recounting the good deeds of the A28ers. I was like, okay, but this angel left, bruh. It's deeper than that. Apparently not, because he just disappeared, vanished. That was it. It was done.
I just don't get why they answered these callings.
I think that like there were consequences to not answering them. I think some of them did have some issues, but I can't remember exactly what those were. So like some of them did have like issues because
Mm,
of it,
I
and
don't know.
like all of this could have been solved way sooner if Egan had followed his first calling.
What was his first calling?
It was something with that church. Remember where he went back and then they ended up finding like that wall with the, yes, the Omega Sapphire. Egan could have found that first season had he followed his calling.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've seen.
Yeah, yeah, because I think they talked about that maybe the first in that first part of season 4, because they broke up season
Hmm.
4. So in that first part of season 4, I think is where they talked about that. Um, but yeah, I was like, of course he would do that. And then he married Angelina, and I was like,
But he was doing it for self-salvation because the
yeah, I
followers
know, I know,
psychos. So, um,
yeah.
I don't know. So, did you like it? Did you not?
To this day, I do not know how I feel about it. I don't.
Well, I
Like,
finished it
okay,
yesterday. So, do I like it? I think I was okay with. I hate shows that hype me up and then disappoint me at the end. And I especially hate shows that pick up in the last season with the most outlandish things. Like this one
yeah,
spit out the plane. We were supposed to figure out the callings, get on this plane. Like everything was resolved in one episode. Game of
right,
Thrones, everything happened the last episode. The killing of the Night Walker,
yeah,
John banished to the wall, Daenerys dying, the the Lannister house crippling or King's Landing crippling. Like it was so much. I'm like, how did you just do? You needed at least another season of Game of Thrones. Like, how are they just gonna do us like that?
yeah, girl.
I'm still
That's the
hurt. And
problematic
then
situation.
Bran, I can't. The winner of Game of Thrones was Sansa, but we're not talking about Game of Thrones, guys.
She sure was the winner though, wasn't she?
She
I
was a
love
winner.
her. For sure. For sure. So like while I still may not fully know how I feel, do I do like that in some ways they did get, their second chance. Like the fact that Ben got to be with his wife again, who, had been killed by Angelina. The fact that Cal was getting to be a kid again, Olive was gonna grow up with her dad. Michaela was gonna like end up with Zeke sooner. Sanvi ended up with her girl, so like those kind of things, like I did like that because we've seen these characters for years, everything they've gone through, some messed up stuff. So, in that sense, I was happy for them at least, for them to have had that, for them to have had that sort of, second chance.
I mean, I could have saved some time. And but I'm fully invested in these shows. Once I started, I like to finish them and then be
Yeah.
happy or disappointed. Usually I'm disappointed because I have high hopes for things. Um,
Yeah, I do too.
but it was entertaining in the beginning. I just don't like when things
Yeah.
die out and I have to like still re-engage. And I'm like, all right, we get it. Come on, let's keep it moving.
Yeah. I mean, would I watch it again? Probably. It was so crazy.
Really, I would not waste not 1 minute more. Actually,
I
I
don't
might
know.
because Josh Dallas is a cutie. That's
Ben Stone. Whew.
guys, if you know me, I think you're kind of getting to know me now. I watch shows. I watch anything FBI, law enforcement, detective. That's like police work,
Your thing.
my thing. Anything, I don't
Yeah.
care how repetitive, I will watch that. Then
Yeah.
I will also watch shows based on how cute a main character is. I'll be like, oh, you're cute. Let's see what you're doing. And then, so then this is how I stumbled upon Manifest because this is not something that I would watch, But if you're cute enough,
Yeah.
I might. Okay.
I mean, Josh Dallas, and then you had Julito,
Oh,
aka Jared.
that was another one.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this. But no, I mean, I think I definitely wouldn't mind rewatching it at least once. There's definitely shows that I don't care to ever rewatch, but like, I think this one wouldn't be a bad one to try and like see what I could have missed or whatever, especially because it was so like, puzzly or clue heavy and stuff like that. I do like that. Um, and I wish I knew as much about mythical ancient stuff as they did. Like they
Yeah.
just came up with all this stuff. I was like, oh, okay,
I know. It's
good to know.
amazing. Let us know what you
Yeah.
think in the comments, guys. Did you like Manifest? Did it remind you of something? Would you be a part of the Stone family? Answer callings? Would you
Yeah.
I don't know, who's your favorite character? Let us know. Clearly Josh Dallas, Ben Stiller is
Hello.
my favorite character. But please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos, and we'll see you next time with another review. Peace.
Bye, guys.